YouTube, what's going on? Dan with Electric Reef. So today I just kind of wanted to give you guys a 2.5 going on 3 week update of the 65 gallon build. So I followed the Red Sea Reef Mature Pro kit pretty close to what they said to do in there, like pretty much the 2 week mark after a second water change. Yeah, you're supposed to add 2 herbivorous fish. I shied away from that a little bit. Decided to put a little hardy fish in there, damsel, just because my water parameters were not reading at what the kit says they should be at that time frame. I know every tank cycles differently, so you're gonna have different results. So the levels were low enough that I figured I could add a fish. It'll help boost the nitrogen cycle a little bit. My ammonia's at 0. Nitrate's right around 0.5 parts per million. And nitrate is hovering between 0 and 5. So figured I'm gonna add a fish, do a damsel, very hardy species, and see what happens. Now, I didn't have a full-blown diatom bloom. I'm not really seeing any algae build up inside the tank, but there are some small little specks of diatom in there, and it's slowly getting bigger, but it seemed like it kind of stopped where it was at. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. I got a little red-legged hermit crab in there, just doing a little bit of cleanup. I'll get some Nacerius snails and turbo snails in here within the next week and a half to start keeping up with the bioload that's in here, which one little damsel, not doing too much damage. But still waiting on my pumps, my Vortec MP10s to come in. Other than that, water temperature sticking right around 78 degrees. pH is hovering right around 8. And then alkalinity, DKH, all that fun stuff. Calcium, that's all staying pretty much right where it should be. And there's nothing in there really consuming any of that, i.e. corals, coralline algae. So everything's going good. Salinity right at 1.025. I'm slowly bringing that up to 1.026 with water changes, so I'm compensating every water change. For right now, until the cycle is done, I'm doing a 1 week 5% water change, which is kind of small, but seeing as the bioload on this tank isn't heavy at this point and my nutrients aren't sky high, I think 5% is a good place to start. And then obviously once I get more livestock in there, fish, anything that creates waste, when I start feeding a little more heavily, then yeah, I'm gonna definitely up the water changes. But we'll see what happens though. It might get to the point where I can do it once every 2 weeks. I'd like to stick to a once a week schedule just because I can, and I think it's good tank husbandry. And so far so good. Not really overfeeding the damsel. It's an azure damsel. Not really overfeeding it. Got it on mysis shrimp and pellet diet right now, and it ate right off the bat. I put it in the tank and gave it like a good 5-6 hours, let it kind of adjust a little bit, and then I tried feeding it mysis shrimp and it started eating right away, which I should have checked my local fish store where I purchased the damsel to make sure that the fish was eating prior to, but I figured since it was kind of a cheap small fish to keep the cycle going, good. If I did lose it, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Obviously I don't want to lose it. I take a lot of pride in this tank and this build, and I'd love to see this fish grow out of this tank. If not, make it for the long run. but I feed it pellets, little pellet diet, and it took 2 right away. One thing I did have to do, because the pellets float, the fish couldn't figure out that the pellets were even in the tank once I dropped them in. So what I'm doing is I'm submerging the pellets lightly, so they kind of sink and fall right in front of the fish, and she eats every single one. I can feed her 5 times a day and she'd eat every single one. So that's a good thing. Not gonna feed her 5 times a day just because I don't want that extra nutrient base in my tank. But she's definitely eating, looking good. She's very lively, swimming around all the time. If you could see her in there. The hermit crab, he's all over the place. Little red-legged hermit, he's all over the place. He's eating some of the diatoms that are popping up here and there. So yeah, we're doing good. Rolling steady. This video's kind of not well thought out, put together. Pretty busy this week right off the bat. It's Monday, and got a full schedule this week, so yeah, we'll get you a better update here soon. I still need to get my equipment reviews done and posted. Everything's working out. Everything seems great now. Still don't have any coral or anything like that in the tank, so I can't really tell you how these lights are going to perform when it comes to growing coral out and that fun part of the hobby. So what we got so far.